Welcome back, everybody. We had a really wonderful time last week honoring the heroes who endured so much during the Biden border crisis. And we have some bonus footage with some wonderful families that lost loved ones to illegal immigration. You're going to love hearing their stories. Look, they're not happy stories, but it's important. Take a look.
Thursday and Friday, we had the Extraordinary Award event here in Washington. I wanted to keep the conversation going into another week because we shall and should never forget the sacrifices and losses that the Biden era of border insecurity created for this country. If we remember the victims' names, if we remember what we did wrong, hopefully we won't repeat it in future generations. We've got another special segment here today on this Monday to get it kicked off. 5 more extraordinary angel parents who lost loved ones in the course of this extraordinary tragedy. I want to introduce you to him. We're going to go around the horn quickly, and then we've got an extra parent out in the audience with my amazing colleague, Amanda Head. Starting to my right, Anita Puckett. Good to have you here, Anita.
Thank you.
Right next to her, a familiar face, April Babcock. We were together about a year ago with the Fentanyl special. Your story is so powerful. I'm really looking forward to talking about it again. Jackie Long. Good to have you here. First time. I can't wait to hear from you. And then Jody Jones. Good to have you here. Jody, I want to start with you. And we'll come this way around. We'll come back around. Tell us about your family. What happened? What should we know?
You know, I want to thank the American Border Story and Real America's Voice first of all. Okay, and if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. You know, and telling our family stories. But I don't want to really tell you about how my brother died. I want to tell you about how he lived. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you a story, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about him. Is we were walking out of a convenience store one day, and there's a homeless guy sitting there, and he had no shoes on. And my brother Rocky and I were walking by him, and Rocky stops and starts talking to him. And he ends up giving his shoes to him. Wow. So we get in the car, and I said, Rock, what are we going to do now? He goes, well, Joe. He called me Joe. He goes, well, Joe, let's go to the store. I got to get me some new shoes. So I think that just kind of tells you everything you need to know about him. He was a good-hearted guy. You know, he was our big brother. Yeah. He was a son. He was a father. And he was good at every one of them.
Wow. Amazing. What an amazing story. I've been thinking for the last few days about what we experienced last week. And Jackie, every one of you has gone through this journey. I want to learn about your family, what happened, but also where do you find the resolve? How do you get out of that hole when you get that incredible news?
You know, it took a while. And I started looking around for groups and people diving into how my son died, which was fentanyl poisoning. So once I learned that, it was him and his girlfriend. Oh. They were found together. Oh. Both died of fentanyl poisoning. So I started really looking into it and just trying to learn about it. And I found Lost Voices of Fentanyl group. And I started seeing how devastating and the numbers of moms burying their kids and knowing that they all understood it. Realizing that she was what that fight was about, which is fighting the supply. Yep. Coming through the country through the open borders. Right. And it helped me turn my pain into purpose to join that army. Sometimes I call us the unfortunate army, the mothers in mourning. But there's so many families. There's siblings and dads and cousins. Our family lost 2 of my cousins from fentanyl poisoning. And my son and his girlfriend.
It's a beautiful photo.
Thank you. And you know, these are special photos. This is my son and Stephanie and Brian. And then these are just family photos. So it doesn't impact the mom. It impacts everyone. These are his brothers, his sisters, his nieces. And our football picture. Ryan was born on a Super Bowl Sunday. Wow. So that was something we did. We had we celebrated his birthday, and then we always celebrated his birthday on Super Bowl too. Wow. And the flowers are really special because he I didn't like fresh cut flowers as a gift because they've always died. So even as a young boy, he started giving me these fake flowers, and I have every single one of them. So I always try to incorporate them in my photos.
Pretty awesome. I'm so glad you brought them with you today. All right, April, the last time we were together, the only time I've ever cried on air. It was such an incredible night, but you still are in the fight every day. Tell us about your son.
Yeah, so my son Austin, I want to show his photo.
Yeah.
This is actually the last photo I ever took of him. It was a week before Christmas of 2018. I took this photo, and there's so much to say, but so little time. I mean, he was a mama's boy. He was, you know, he was the one, all his friends had to come to our house. He didn't leave my side. And I'll never let how he died define him. There's so much stigma behind drug use.
Right.
But you know what killed my son? I did for 20 years of my life, John, and I'm alive because fentanyl wasn't in the drug supply.
That's right.
I'm not saying it's a good choice to go out and use illicit drugs. My son, it was cocaine. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying it's a good choice, but people should learn from mistakes, not die from them, and people that do suffer with an SUD should have an opportunity to get sober. And now with fentanyl, they're just
there's no
dying.
chance.
I mean, it's like they're running. There's been stories where some morgues have ran out of freezer space and they had to have the trailers come in. I mean, we're running out of body bags here. This is not normal, but yet it's a very common story.
Wiping out a whole generation
Yeah.
of young Americans.
Yeah.
It's the number one cause of death in that age group.
Absolutely, and it's
unbelievable.
just not normal, but very common.
Last time I heard you remind me of this, it's not an overdose, it's a poisoning.
It's a poisoning.
It was intended to be a poisoning.
I mean, there is zero safe dose of illicit fentanyl,
That's
and
right.
actually there's no safe dose of any illicit drug.
Nope.
All illicit drugs are actually a poison to your body. That's what's going on the inside of your body. You're being poisoned.
Yep.
Even the CDC has said illicit drugs is a poison to your body. When you die of alcohol, they call it an alcohol poisoning. Why are they calling these overdoses? There is zero safe doses of illicit drugs to consume. None.
Hopefully someone's listening out there today or watching today and decides they're not going to go down that path because they just heard what you said, and I hope that's the case. Anita, tell us how your life got turned upside down.
Well, this is Kevin, my handsome son. He was
sure is.
27 years old. This picture was taken on 4th of July, 2021, and Kevin was gone 3 weeks later. You know, and I think that Kevin's not the only victim of fentanyl poisoning. His whole family is, you know, his brothers, his sisters, his grandparents, you know, and
Concentric
there's
circles of loss.
Yeah, so for every 100,000 in this country that are dying from fentanyl poisoning every year, you can triple that. It's 300,000, 400,000 people are victimized by it.
Yeah, you're right.
So.
Yeah, well, thank you for all allowing us to look and see what it does, and also what it looks like to get off the mat and make sure it doesn't happen to someone else. You care that much to do it. We've only got about a minute left. I want to go quickly down the road backwards. I want to start with you, Anita. What's missing from the equation? What can we do better?
Well, I think we're off to a really, really good start this year. So many things that we wanted are happening now. You know, number one, cartels being labeled as foreign terrorist organizations.
Yeah, big moment.
You know, of course, there's more to do. The border's being secured. That's helping to, you know, control the flow of the drugs in the country some. You know, one thing I would like to see is harsher penalties on dealers. I would like to see them held accountable when they cause a death. And, you know, they're going that way, but not all states.
Yeah, no.
The state of
Feds
Maryland
may have to do it.
State of Maryland, far and in between. Do you see that happen?
Yeah. April, what do we
I know
need?
you said real quick, so we need fentanyl education and awareness in all schools, starting with kindergarten.
That's right.
We're using babies, toddlers, 4th graders, 5th graders, 6th graders. We need that education, all schools throughout America, and really we need to start collecting real data. They're still not testing everyone for fentanyl, and everybody laying in a hospital bed with hypoxic brain injuries that are in there because of illicit fentanyl, that's, you know, when they're breathing on their own, so they end up dying from bed sores, infections, pneumonia, and that's how it's being calculated. So we don't have real data for these numbers.
We don't, and we don't ever want a young kid picking up a pill on the floor in a hotel somewhere.
No, and it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening every week. We're losing toddlers every week.
It's insane. All right, Jackie, what are we missing?
Really, what they said, the foreign terrorist organization, you know, fighting the supply. Yes, we do need more penalties and harsher penalties. And Maryland is such a tough state to get law enforcement or giving them the tools to be able to get the job done. So, you know, hopefully we're moving in a better direction, and I think we're off to a good start, as Anita said.
Jody, last word from you.
I would like to thank President Trump for what he's doing, and